Hello everybody, today is June 27th and there's a little bit of an echo in here and there's some background noise, but it's cool. So I hope that's okay. Look, I figured I owed everybody an explanation of what's going on because there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of conjecture. So I thought I'd let you know what it is. So I'm not going to talk about events today so much as about the situation that happened to me. Little background information. About a year ago, maybe not quite, I did a video addressing some government officials, and I noticed I was getting surveilled then, and I answered them. I went right back to them on a video called Response to Bots. So, you know, I knew I was getting some information out there that, you know, I'm not sure that it's because I know so much as maybe I know people. I've been around people in powerful positions, and that might be more of the situation. Certainly my clearance level and some of the things that I've done. Knowledge, yes. Particulars, no. You know what I mean? But I think that's why they got concerned. And they, of course, they watch all of us anyway. And a lot of the times when I'm talking about things, I use keywords that get picked up. Obviously, a lot of us do. So that was the first incident that I recall. And then about February, March, April time frame, I noticed I was getting more trolls on the network as I started to increase my activity. And then one in particular who caused me a great deal of grief basically lied about things, came on the site and really tried to stir things up. I'm pretty sure that was CIA involved. Probably not a full-time agent or anybody like that, but just somebody that they hire on the side to do these types of things. Enough said on that. And then, of course, other activities started to occur more frequently after that. Well, then, after the Boston bombing thing in particular, I noticed that I don't upload my videos in any one location all the time. I change locations. Am I afraid? No. What it is I wanted to get the information out without being harassed, okay? But I did make a mistake this certain time, and I went to the same place 3 times in a row. The second time I was there, I noticed some guys that I had not seen before, and I was be there for hours, so you know I know the people that come in, and they looked like cops, you know, that kind of thing. Didn't think much of it, just kind of let it go, but I noticed they were eyeing me quite a bit. The third time I came and they came in, they were taking pictures of me on their cell phones. One in particular, I just kind of smiled and gave him a devilish look, and he got up and he ran out along with the other guys that already left, but he ran out like like I had made him, which I had, of course, and maybe he thought I was going to do something to him, I don't know, but he took off in a mad run. And then what happened here the other day? Okay. I was uploading a video, the one that finally came up. I had to reduce the resolution on the June 25th update in order for it to go up, and to try to get it there in a reasonable amount of time because it is kind of long. So I went to this location and I was uploading it. Hadn't been there before. Well, let's see, I'd been there once before, but it hadn't been consecutive. I had, you know, basically gone to another place in between. But I was there, and I was there for a long time because that June 25th update, it wouldn't go up. It kept getting denied. I changed the resolution, change this, change that, it just wouldn't go up. And then my phone rang, and I was getting information that I was waiting for. But what I had, there were pictures, and I wanted to put them on my computer so I could get a better look at them. And so I needed my adapter for my micro SD card. That's when I went outside, and right as I went outside, I was parked by the street, facing the street, in the parking lot. A black SUV came up to the front. Another vehicle came up from behind and blocked my vehicle in. And I took off. Why would you do that? Because, you know, you revert to autopilot, to training. Again, I wasn't afraid. Concerned, yeah. Afraid, no. I mean, they're not going to whack me in front of everybody if that was even their intention. And that wasn't what they were up to, and I'll explain that in a minute. So for the next few minutes, I was running around the neighborhood there, and they never got out of their cars. The 2 guys in each one, late 20s, early 30s. And basically I gave them the slip. And then they went back, and then back at my car, I managed to move myself around to a position where I could watch what was going on without them seeing me. And they stayed there for an hour, easily. I guess they figured I was going to come back and give up. These weren't the best and the brightest. A little insulted in some regards, but grateful in others, and I've told some other people that as well, because and I'll explain all that in a minute. But anyway, basically they stayed at my car for the whole thing. Lasted about 3 hours, and I changed my positions watching them. I didn't have a camera, I didn't have my phone, I didn't have anything that I needed to do any kind of recording, so that was unfortunate. But it was the fact that I didn't want to go back to where I was. My computer was there, but a guy was watching it for me, because I always asked somebody to watch things as I went outside. So if they went in to check, which I don't think they ever went in, if there was somebody in there originally, or if they went in to check, they would not have known which computer was mine, because I had shut it down when I went outside. I never leave it on when I'm not with it. Anyway, so they stayed there for a long time. Finally, the car in back of my vehicle got tired, and they left. I changed position. That's all I'm going to say, a few times, and then the car that was in front of mine decided that, well, they thought they saw me across the street, I think. So they pulled out, went over there, and they were looking around, but they never left sight of my vehicle except for one time when they went behind a building. But it was quick enough that I guess they knew that, I'm not going to try to jump in there and take off that quick. So they went over there, then they came back to my vehicle, sat there for another half hour, 45 minutes. Then they went across the street to the gas station, pulled in as if they were going to get gas, didn't. They were there for a half an hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour. The driver gets out, goes into the convenience store to get something, comes back out. They sit there again for another 15 minutes or so. Never got gas, but they're underneath the canopy that protects the gas pumps. Stay out of the sun, I guess. And then finally got bored, came out, made one more pass, and left. Now I've been watching, now this is later in the afternoon, I've been watching the area to see if they had any reinforcements come in or anybody else that might give information. And to the best of my ability, I could not see anyone. Now I don't have 360 all the time, but I did the best I could under the circumstances. Went in and got my stuff out of the place, and went to the car on not the driver's side, but in a different door. Slipped in, waited to make sure nobody was screeching up, and then I hauled out of there. Okay, that's basically what happened. All right. Again, that wasn't the first time that these kind of people had been around me. Now let me tell you a little bit about the situation as far as the geographic location. This is in an area where these guys are numerous. They're plentiful. They have some of their major headquarters there. And I'm not going to tell you what city. Some of you will know, but they're like flies. They're everywhere. So I'm going to leave that area. It's just not worth staying there anymore. Let me tell you, however, what I think their intention was, so that we clear this up. I don't think they were out to whack me like Breitbart or Hastings or any of those other kinds of guys. However, they use intimidation, obviously, to try to shut you down. They try to do that with this CIA guy, this troll on my channel, with bringing up personal information and things like that, attacking you. So anything they can do to keep you from saying what you know, especially if you've been in their camp before, and I have been. Obviously, I was in the Army. I was a police officer. I worked in military police and military intelligence, so I was in the inside, and they don't like that. Colonel Anthony Schaefer's had the same problem, if you know who he is. Now, I think he's still on their payroll, but he's taken some hits because of his outspokenness. Anyway, the point is I don't think they were out to hurt me physically. They were out to psychologically, put me at a disadvantage, make me feel weak, make me feel like, I can't talk, that kind of thing. That was the first thing. Having been in their camp, having known the people I have, that may have been another reason, okay, to shut me up. But I want to point something out to you. And some friends told me this some time ago, and I believe it's true. When you hear it from one or two people, you got to take it into, or two or more people, you got to take it into consideration. I think that, like, you remember what they did to Randy Weaver? They went to Randy Weaver. He was the guy up in Idaho's, homeschooling his kids. They lived out, weren't bothering anybody, minding their own business. And they told him that they wanted him to infiltrate the Aryan nations, the neo-Nazis, and he wouldn't do it. So they set him up on a shotgun thing, and also some other stuff, and tried to serve warrants, and he didn't respond. So they sent an FBI SWAT team, and what ended up happening, of course, is his son was killed, his wife was killed, and I think he was injured, and another guy, I don't remember all the details, but the point is, they came to him, wanted him to do work for them. In other words, to get them off his back. They wanted a favor from him, and he wouldn't do it, and then they retaliated. I think that's what these guys are trying to do to me. They want to recruit me to get on the inside. And I'm just going to say this for everybody right now so that you know. I will never do that. All right? And I'm telling it to you guys so you know. I will never do that. I don't want anything to do with your murderous wars, your abortion laws. I don't want anything to do with what you've done to people like Breitbart and Hastings and President Kennedy and the Weavers and the people at Waco. I have no respect for you. Okay? None. I will never, ever give my strength to you ever again. And I want everybody to know that. And you can tell I'm serious. They have violated sacred honor. They have violated the trust that the rest of the world had in this country being the beacon of liberty. And they have desecrated it. So no, and I'm making this public right now, I will never assist them in anything whatsoever again. I answer to God and no one else. Period. Wow. Made that pretty emphatic, didn't I? I'm just going to say one other thing. I believe in warning my enemies. I think everybody knows that. I'm giving you a warning here now. I'm talking to those guys that keep doing this, okay? I'm a peaceful man. But I also know how to handle myself. You don't want me to put you in the dirt. Okay? Leave me alone. I'm revealing your secrets. I'm revealing what you do, how bad you are. Yeah, I am. Repent. You know what you're doing. This isn't about God, America, mom and apple pie. This isn't about truth and justice and liberty. This is about controlling the population. You are on the wrong side and you know it. Don't pretend like you don't. Leave me alone. I'm preaching truth. I'm preaching liberty. And I know you hate that. But you better leave me alone. Even if you come after me, somebody's going to get hurt. Knock it off. All right. So my point is, I don't think they came to whack me, okay? That's probably the way it came over, because when I sent my message out, I wanted people to know that feds were on me. And of course, what's happened to Breitbart and with Hastings and others, they immediately thought that maybe these guys were going to take me and, blow my brains out or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I think they wanted to intimidate me, show their presence. I mean, they were there for 3 hours at least. They were probably wondering what in the heck I was doing. Well, I was watching them. But they were pretty serious. They were relentless until quitting time came. These guys are probably rogue agents. I'm not sure if they were NSA, FBI, DHS, I don't know. My gut react, they are feds, there's no question about that. I'm just not sure which agency. Like I said, I'm in an area where these guys are plentiful. Some of their bigger headquarters are there. So it's hard to say which ones they were. My gut feeling would be FBI, but there's another possibility, as I've mentioned, DHS and NSA. Now, the fact that they stayed so long indicates that there's somebody, they probably answer to two chains of command. Rogue agents, there are two types. There are those that are out there doing their own thing, for whatever reason. And then there are those that actually have two chains of command. They have the chain of command that they answer to, where they get their paycheck. For instance, DHS or FBI or whatever. And then they have a second chain of command where they kind of get additional money, additional power and those things. And that's the criminal side. Those are the guys that are the black ops, and they're everywhere. Okay, there are a lot of them. But they still have to kind of watch that side that gives them their cover. In other words, if they work for the FBI, they're answering to an agent in charge, a field agent in charge. And so, when the end of the day comes, they got to account for their time. So they can only stick around so long when they're doing their thing, unless the person that they're working for works for both sides as well, and then they can kind of fudge a little bit. But they left at about the time that their main office would be wondering where they are. Okay, so they were rogue agents, no question about it. I am not saying that the FBI itself is doing this to me. DHS maybe, NSA maybe, but the point is that these guys weren't after me on any legitimate, legal, investigative reason. If I'm certainly not a danger to the country. I want to save the republic. They might consider that a danger, I guess, to them. But I wanted to clear that up so you all knew, what's going on. Now, I went on the Pete Santilli show, and I got a tail right after that. I made him. He knew I made him, and so he peeled off. Apparently, he was the only one. Sometimes they double team you, triple team you. There are different ways to do that. But I think this guy was just there to watch, to see what I was doing. So, like I say, there are a dime a dozen in the area that I am there. They got these little, they're not even weaned yet from their mommies, right? And they send them out to do these little things. But I have an open eye, so I was watching them. As far as I can tell, my car was not. They did not plant anything on my car. I don't believe, and I've double checked that. I haven't found anything. So I think we're okay there. Keep my phone off most of the time. Yes, I do use tinfoil, not as a hat. Okay, so there are a lot of things going on here, but I just wanted to say, kind of clear that up and tell you, where we are. But this is serious, the fact that they're doing this, and I was not the only one, as I think I've gotten out there now. They've done this to one of the radio shows that I was on. They shut them down. I know for a fact another YouTube user name that was confronted by a car, blocked him in the same way they did me, except he was in his car apparently, where I was fortunately not. And there have been some other things. So they're actively trying to intimidate people that are trying to get the truth out. Probably not the bigger ones yet. I think they're going after the small fries right now just to see what the reaction will be. Because the bigger guys that are out there, Michael Savage, Alex Jones, and I know there are people that think that that they're controlled opposition, whatever. I can't go there. I just got to use what media I have access to, what information sources, and they're not the only ones, of course. But Michael Savage was prevented from going into Britain, for instance. They shut him down there. And so anyway, the bottom line is that they have done things to the bigger guys. Michael Hastings, of course, Breitbart. So but I think there are different ways to clean their house, so to speak. And so I think they're going after little guys, probably to send messages and to see how it'll be received. So raise hell, that they're doing this stuff. Raise hell. And it is your government doing it, and rogue agencies within the government. Yeah, they need to control their own, and they're not. And that war in the government is part of the reason. This whole thing with Snowden, I think, is part of that. It's probably CIA and NSA batting heads, but I don't think Snowden, as I've said before, is privy to that. His handlers are using him, yes, absolutely. I think that's true. He hasn't really revealed anything that we didn't already know. I mean, yeah, some details. The important thing is, though, is that everyone else with this thing has come out and realized what this government is up to. Got to give him a pat on the back on that. And regardless of whether he's being used by handlers or not, certainly it's a diversion. It's keeping us from looking at what's really the serious stuff over in Syria, the fact they're going to kill millions of people over this whole thing to stay in power, as I said on those videos in the last few days. What do we do? All right, well, this was a little long, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew what was up. Are they going to leave me alone? Probably not. All right. I'm going to stay under the radar a little bit for a little bit longer. I want to thank all of those people that have been there to be concerned about me. I don't think I was really in any danger. The real tactic that I was using is they were trying to control the time and the place, and my training will avoid that at every opportunity. Okay, you can slip up, but I don't want it to be on their time and place choosing. Okay, so it was a tactic. I responded as I had been trained, and that was basically it. I was upset that they would try to do that to me. Okay, I don't know that the things I have to say are all that important, but I want to say them. And I want to say them without anybody else telling me what I can and can't do. And that's what they would try to do. And frankly, I just don't want to go there. You know, and they've got their warning. They need to leave me alone. Okay? All right. Enough for now. Thanks for listening. Again, all you folks that were there to help me, thank you. Those people that came by and were starting to talk about how ridiculous this situation was, and that, you know, they're not sure, and that it sounds like a story or whatever. You know, you guys either work for the system or you know absolutely nothing about what you're up against. It's one of the two. Okay? I'm not in this to make money. I'm in this to warn people. I have a God-given responsibility to warn my neighbor. And I'm doing it on my own at great sacrifice. I'll just say it that way, okay? So don't think I have an ulterior motive of any kind, because I don't. I've said it up front. I am only concerned about saving lives and liberty. That is my motivation. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day.